Welcome back. This is day 8. Today is the day where we discuss how to navigate the change curve. Why it's so difficult, why a lot of people fail at it, and what to do in order to make it easier for us to navigate that change curve. Now, what is the change curve? Change requires effort, and effort requires energy. Now, if that effort is something that's familiar to you, if the goal that you seek is something that's within your grasp, you believe it's within your grasp, it doesn't require a lot of effort and energy or time from your mind, it will be something that's easy for you and you will move confidently towards this goal, and there will be no question, almost no question about whether you're going to achieve this goal or not. Yet, when the goal is not within your immediate reach, or at least you perceive it not to be within your reach, not within your current level of skill or a level of resources or whatever excuse or reason that there is in place that keeps you from getting the goal that you want. So when the goal is a bit challenging, now there's a steep uphill battle to get to this goal. Now that requires you to get out of your cave, of your comfort zone, of the familiar. You could be spending this time resting or doing something more enjoyable than learning new skills and fighting against and thinking and solving problems in order to get that goal, to get that job, that promotion, the learning, or whatever it is that your objective, whatever it is that you're running after. Now, since the goal is a bit steep, it's difficult to go uphill if you do not prepare, if you don't have the muscle power already, or you do not have the carpets under the sole of your shoes. Change will prove to be extremely difficult because it's not a straight line. It never is. Had it been a straight line, everybody would have done it. Now, because it is difficult, a lot of people shy from it. We will discuss much in details in the next video of today about cognitive ease. Make sure you watch that. Back to the change curve. When you initiate any change, you have to do something new. You have to find your way. You have to solve problems. And that can be very confusing, especially if you're not already prepared for that situation. Had you been preparing for the situation, getting the learning, the mindset, and everything you need to do, it would have been a much more comfortable position, and we wouldn't be talking about this today, would we? Now, since the new is uncertain, there's a lot of confusion involved. And if we don't have a strategy to deal with confusion and clarify this confusion, what will happen is that frustration will kick in. And you know, when frustration kicks in, it's extremely heavy on the brain. It's a very, very negative feeling. You get frustrated. That's all there is to say. You get frustrated. And this frustration is an extremely powerful inhibitor for us. And that's an action feeling for our mind. Now, I love frustration. You may laugh about that. What I love about frustration, although it is frustrating, is that frustration means that there's something that still can be done, but it's not done yet, and hence the frustration. So frustration is a crucial step in moving forward. Yet, because frustration and confusion are negative states, and they levy a heavy load on the brain, and they flood your brain with negative emotions, and you will feel bad about the situation, what will happen here is we try to find our way back to the comfort zone. Yet, we already have igniters towards the goal, and we will not feel very good about ourselves quitting that soon. So what usually happens here is when people start to negotiate the goal. Let's say your goal is to quit smoking or to lose that weight. When quitting smoking, when the craving for food or cigarettes start to happen, and the confusion, frustration kicks in, the mind always starts to try to fall back to its previous comfortable position, and that's what we call your comfort zone. So your mind starts negotiating ways to go back to the comfort zone, and you start negotiating with yourself. Well, I'll smoke half a pack a day, or I'll cut slowly, or I'll eat a smaller amount of that cake. So what you start doing is negotiate with yourself the terms of coming back to your comfort zone. And you know what? The more you do it, you become an expert negotiator. And who better than you know yourself? So when you negotiate with yourself to come back to the comfort zone, it's a losing situation, because if that goal serves to move your life forward, you'll be cheating yourself by going back to your comfort zone, and that will be quitting, really. Now, there's nothing wrong in quitting if you have, I don't call it quitting, if you go back, regroup, lick your wounds, learn new strategies, build your muscle power, get more carpet under the sole of your shoes, and then move forward. Then it's no longer quitting. It's actually a wonderful strategy to adopt, especially when the fight is an uphill battle and the goal is huge. We come back to our comfort zone, and the challenge becomes here is that the comfort zone becomes smaller. Why? Because we're no longer satisfied with it. We wanted to get away from it in the first place, stop that smoking, lose that weight. So when we're back to it, we're not really satisfied, although we're more comfortable now because we alleviated the stress of frustration and confusion. When negotiation fails, depression kicks in. When I say depression is this, when you feel you're out of steam. You're really out of steam and everything looks bleak, and all you want to do is just retreat. When depression kicks in, our brain kicks in its instincts. Now we have 4 instincts. They call the 4 F's. It's feeding, fight or flight, and fornication. Now what am I concerned here with is the fight or flight responses. When depression kicks in, it's an extremely negative situation. Your brain goes haywire and goes on survival mode, because depression is an action signal for your brain that there's something that's not going well and you need to do something about it. So what happens here is your instinct will kick in and you'll do either a flight response or a fight response. Now these are hardwired to our brain, and all the species have them. Any species, in terms of when they face danger, either they fight ferociously or they flee quickly. Our brains have evolved to do the same thing. And our responses become habitual the more we use them. So if you're used to using more the flight response in similar situation, that's what your brain will do from now on. It becomes a habitual response. And it's familiar territory to retreat. And you already have all the alibis and the effect language to make you feel better about yourself once you're back to your comfort zone. Now, if your brain or you override your brain's natural instinct to flee the scene, and you instead take a fight response. What is a fight response? I'm not asking you to go and fight anyone. The fight response is where you really stand up to the situation and face it. Face that lion, face that danger. But there are ways of doing that. Chunk down the tasks, make them smaller, make your tasks more familiar. Smaller chunks get familiar quickly. That's why I emphasize a lot the importance of chunking, bite-sized things. How do you eat an elephant? It's bite by bite. So just start testing few ideas here and there. Test small, test the water. It's like you want to jump in the pool and you're not sure about the temperature of the water. You just test it with your toe, don't you? So what I want you to do is start testing, and that will be kind of your task for today. We'll discuss that later. Start testing some of the ideas. When you do test here and there, the familiar starts kicking in. And the more familiar kicks in, the change curve becomes easier, and there's less frustration. When you know things, you're not frustrated about them. There's no confusion, and when you find ways to learn the skills needed to do the behavior to get the results, they become also more familiar, and you'll start to enjoy them. We were discussing the classes of experience and how you're spending your time tomorrow, and that's really based on what you're doing today. If at the bottom of the change curve, depression kicks you in towards retreat, your life will shrink because your comfort zone will become smaller and smaller. If you're navigating the change curve is something that's more familiar for you, you will go more into fight responses, and you'll start testing, build the muscle, and guess what? The more muscle you build, the more easy it will be for you. Why? Because once you have done the fight response many times, it also becomes habitual. Remember, habits can make you or break you. It really depends on what habits you have. All habits that are empowering for you are getting you the results that you want in your life, like a habit of waking early or reading or watching courses like this or learning. All those habits are serving you in your life. Yet there are habits that are not serving you. And both of them were created equally. When you think about it, all habits have been formed using the same time and effort, even the what you deem negative ones. So once you do the fight, you start testing, then you start accepting. Whenever you test ideas, you refuse some of them and you'll accept some of them. Now, with every new acceptance, with every new knowledge, your mind's canvas expand, and now you can create more ideas. Now you have more ideas, you can test more. And you are, the most important thing here is you feel more confident. I'm not saying roaring energy and power, not now at least. What I'm saying is you feel a bit more confident about the situation, and build on that confidence. Confidence will breed more confidence. And once you get the goal, you keep on testing and accepting until you reach the goal. Now, once you get that goal becomes within your comfort zone. Reaching similar kind of goal, of course, with a bit of repetition and adjustment, similar the kind level of challenge in the goal itself will become something that's familiar for you, and therefore you can get the same kind of goal again and again and again. When I'm saying the same kind of goal, I'm saying the same kind of challenge that's required from that for you to get that goal. So the key learning here in navigating the change curve is to learn how to direct and control our instinctive responses and our brain's natural penchant and tendency for the easy and familiar. There's some work to be done. And remember, that's our motto for this program. Either do the work or it's not worth it, is it? So if it's still worth it for you and you're pressing on with this program, what I would like you to do today is watch your fight and flight responses. And I'm not saying the fight responses where you punch someone in the face, although that's a fight response. This is where you face something. I don't necessarily agree with this way of dealing with it, yet it's one way of dealing with it. That's not fleeing. Whenever you fight, whenever you face situations, you create something new, and out of that something new, new things will happen, new information, new insights that will give you a new direction. And guess what? By doing those tests, especially the ones that are most challenging, a lot of people find their purpose in life, find what really, really kicks the adrenaline in their body and give them the sense of enjoyment. Because remember one thing, once you reach that goal, just imagine how good you're gonna feel about not getting the goal itself. By the way, the result itself is secondary to the good feelings you're gonna get about yourself now that you have built more personal power. So the key again is to direct the instincts of fight and flight responses. Now, your challenge here, like we said, is cognitive ease. Let's talk more about that in the next video. I'll see you there.